The design for sound in Othello takes its lead from what Shakespeare wrote, of course, but also from how the director wants to tell the story. But it also needs to be constructed in a way that has some flexibility so that it can follow what the actors do. The introduction of sound can't end up being a straitjacket for the performers on stage. These days we have the advantage of using a computer to program a sequence of sounds and music that can be easily triggered by the operator. There's a progression from start to finish that's not uncommon in many of Shakespeare's plays, and that progression also guided the construction and the composition of sound and music for the play. He begins on a very broad canvas. His characters are talking about war and matters of state, and the play ends up focusing on the lives and indeed the deaths of just a few characters. The sound design follows that progression. It starts big and dramatic and becomes softer throughout the play as the focus of our attention is drawn to the principal characters. The sweeping strings that bring in all the actors for the prologue suggests a big occasion, the wedding between Othello and Desdemona, but it's clear that not everyone is happy. The sinister synthesized voice and some discordant sounds hint at Iago's less than honorable intentions. And then the percussive military rhythms set the scene for valiant Othello's short-lived triumphant return to Venice. The second half of the play opens in a very different way. Things are much more personal now. Emilia and Desdemona's entrance is preceded by a plaintive melody on guitar, which might have been played around the castle by a court musician. Later, Desdemona continues in that vein with the wistful willow song, which is then echoed at the very end by the male characters humming the tune as the lights fade on the tragic conclusion. I suppose one of the advantages of creating something for theatre today compared to Shakespeare's time 400 years ago is that now every one of us is fluent in the language and the vocabulary of music associated with drama. Everything we see on cinema and television has music. And apart from being a universal language, one of the great advantages that music has is that it speaks directly to our emotions. There's no need for any translation whatsoever. An example in Othello is at the fight scene. The beginning of the fight scene has no dialogue. There are several seconds where nothing is said. Iago steps onto the stage. It's lit very dimly. But you hear this low C minor, shivering C minor chord that tells you, without a single word being spoken, that all is not well and something serious is about to happen. Sound and music in drama is never designed to work on its own. It takes its lead from the script and the overall presentation of the story that the director has in mind, and then needs to complement the visual pictures created by the set designer and the lighting designer. And that was certainly the case for Othello. And of course we also need to make sure that what we all create enables and enhances the action that's portrayed by the actors on stage.